delle autorità preposte.
Italy's Deputy Prime Minister, Matteo Salvini, has led a crackdown against Mediterranean rescue ships. He's denied them access to local ports following the arrival of thousands of people from North Africa since 2014. On Tuesday, Salvini welcomed the seizure of the Aquarius, tweeting, "It seems I did well to close the Italian ports to the NGOs."
This is not the first time that we're being accused. We've been accused of human smugglers. We've been accused of not bringing our medical supplies properly on board. And this is the latest attack. So we don't see this as a legal attack. We see this actually as a political attack to try to get one of the last search and rescue ships off the sea while many people are dying.
The Aquarius has rescued thousands of people. Euronews was recently given an exclusive insight into life on board when Italy began to refuse to accept the migrants. The fate of the vessel, which is docked in Marseille, is now in the hands of the French authorities. Evelyn Laverick, Euronews.
Well, as we heard there in Evelyn's report, the Aquarius ship is in Marseille in the south of France. Georgia Orlandi is on the dock just in front of it. Good morning, Georgia. What reaction has there been from the Aquarius this morning?
Good morning, Belle. Well, in the meantime, we got access to the port area where the Aquarius is docked. I got the chance to speak with one of the members of Doctors Without Borders who is on board the Aquarius right now. He told me that business is running as usual, and of course, they're not quite sure what's going to happen next. Of course, it will take some time before the decision, the order coming from the Italian prosecutors will be processed and then will be transferred to French authorities, or it might well be that this order will come into effect when the ship will arrive in Italy. So lots of questions still to be answered.
And Georgia, this is not a new story, of course. It's been rumbling on all through the summer with the Italian government being pitted against the Aquarius ship.
Yes, it's not the first time that the Aquarius finds itself in troubles. Let's just remind ourselves of what happened last June when the ship was in the middle of a political crisis, when Italian Interior Minister Salvini didn't allow the ship to dock and disembark migrants in Italy. But also, more recently, the ship was stripped of its flags, both by Gibraltar and Panama. So the registration for the ship is a main issue here, but also it's been quite a while that NGOs have troubles to continue their activity at sea, and this is the result of Salvini's hardline policies when it comes to immigration. Last week I was in Palermo. I got the chance to speak to the city's mayor, Leoluca Orlando. He has a different view from Salvini on immigration, and this is what he had to say.
Palermo, a city that for centuries has been one of the capitals of the Mediterranean. In this Jerusalem of Europe, many cultures and nations have left a visible mark. Greeks, Romans, Normans and Spanish, they all lived here. Most of the 600,000 migrants who have arrived in Italy since 2014 landed here in Sicily. The city's mayor, Leoluca Orlando, knows it well. After he was re-elected for the fifth time in 2016, he turned the once known as the capital of the mafia into the Italian capital of culture. I met the Sicilian mayor in his residence. He told me how fighting the mafia helped him shape a modern culture of welcome. Last June, he was one of the few Italian politicians who defied Interior Minister Salvini's hardline policies. He said his city was ready to allow rescue ship Aquarius to dock and disembark in Palermo's port.
Quando qualcuno mi chiede quanti migranti ci sono a Palermo, 30.000,
when someone asks me how many migrants live in Palermo, 30,000, 40,000, 80,000, 100,000, I reply nobody. Whoever lives in Palermo is a Palermite. I make no difference between those born in the city and those living in Palermo. Do you call this a model? Well, I call it a concrete experience made by a philosopher who loves philosophy, but who also works as a mayor. My goal is to free the city from the shame of the past, and that is the mafia that used to kill people. Minister Salvini's approach looks like the beginning of fascism. He plays volleyball, I play cricket. It's two different practices, two different rules, two different sets of values.
Due pratiche diverse, due regole diverse, due mondi di valori diversi.
Ballarò's open-air market is 100 years old. In the heart of the city, it's a mosaic of cultures, a mix of Bangladeshi, African and Sicilian groceries. Today, in what used to be the most run-down area in the city, young entrepreneurs have come to invest. Volti Volti was created in 2014. It's both a co-working space and a restaurant with a team of 27 from 10 different countries. Ibra is a regular customer here. He arrived in Sicily 10 years ago when he left the Ivory Coast to reach Europe. Today he's the president of the Council of Cultures that represents all the different communities living in Palermo.
In Palermo, an immigrant doesn't feel different from an Italian who was born here. An immigrant here is directly involved in the social, economic and political activities.
Ibra told me after spending all these years building a better future for himself and the city, he doesn't want to live again. Giorgio Orlandi, Euronews, Palermo.